Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Shannon, and today we are going to talk about the idea of having money. And if I have money, something bad might happen. So, therefore, I don't let money in. And this is a very deeply rooted, often very hidden subconscious belief. Think about it. Everybody thinks, oh, I want to have more money. If I were rich, I'd be happy. Things along those lines. That might not be the exact idea. Some people understand that you won't be happy automatically because you have lots of money, but definitely money does help, right? You need a certain amount of money to live, to not be stressed, things like that. So, where does this idea come from? If you think about it, in our society, there is a very deeply entrenched belief around this idea of rich people are greedy, they're corrupt, they do shady things to get their money. It's an us versus them mentality. And in a lot of families, and I grew up in the Midwest, so this very pervasive idea around making money or having money was you have to work hard for your money. And it was a different time when I was growing up than now. We didn't have the internet where we could all be on making money, but money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for your money. We're not made of money. We always have to save, we have to sacrifice, things like that. You know, it's easy for them, it's hard for us, right? So, how many of these things sort of resonate with you? The idea that people that have money are selfish, they're greedy, they're bad people. And we see this a lot of times in movies, in shows, things like that. And especially if you are, you grew up in the 80s, the 90s, a lot of the movies were very black and white, right? The poor people or poorer people were the ones that had great values and they were very proud and they were good people. And then the people with a lot of money were doing things that were harmful. They didn't appreciate things. They didn't have good values. So we saw a lot of that growing up. So it's not really a wonder that a lot of people are walking around with this idea that it's unsafe to have money, right? People will think that I'm stuck up. They'll think I'm selfish. They'll think that I did something wrong. And so what happens? We tell ourselves things like, oh, I don't need that much money. I don't want money. I'm just fine. There are a lot of people worse that have it worse than I do. It's all these things we tell ourselves that block money from coming in. Okay. And so the idea that we want to work on that, this is really mapped out into your nervous system and it affects everything that you do. So when you do try to ask for a raise at work, or when you're starting your business or trying to build your business, these underlying beliefs come into play, right? What do you think? So it makes it very hard to turn that off. So we want to work on that because honestly, you have a right to have lots of money. You have a right to be surrounded by nice things, whether that be cars, houses, whatever it is that you choose. And of course, you can do more good when you have more money, right? You just have that ability. You can share, perhaps you can provide jobs for people. There are lots of different ways that you can do good in the world when you have money. Okay. And so you can have those feelings of safety and security. So we just want to work on some of that stuff. And I want you just to even now start becoming aware of what are the stories that you tell yourself around having lots of money. Okay. And we're just going to jump in. We're going to do some tapping and you can just follow along with me. You can repeat what I'm saying if they resonate. If there's something else that comes up for you, just say whatever you want to say. It doesn't really matter. Just keep tapping while you're doing it. If any emotion comes up, keep going. It's going to move itself out of the body, which is great. Anything that comes up is ready to be released. So don't try to hold it in. Ideally, you want to be able to say this stuff out loud, but if you're in a place where there are other people in the room and you can't really do that, that's okay. Just do it in your head. And come back and repeat, okay? So the first thing I want you to do before we jump in is I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And I want you to think for a moment about what these stories are that are coming up for you when you think about letting more money in, having a lot of money. What is it? What are the thoughts? People will think that I'm selfish. I don't need that much. Whatever it is that's coming up, I have to work hard for my money. I'll never see my friends or family because I'll have to work all the time. Things like that, okay? And then what are the feelings? I feel scared. And even that's a very, very common thing, even though it doesn't really make logical sense. It feels unsafe, right? So I feel scared. I feel jittery. Tune into whatever it is that's coming up for you. And I want you to rate those things on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being the least, 10 being the most. Jot them down, and we're just going to jump in and get started, okay? So we're going to start in the karate chop point and just follow what I'm doing. Even though I'm already feeling nervous, thinking about having more money, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I want to make sure that you're taking deep breaths throughout, okay? Even though this is surprisingly uncomfortable, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I tell myself I want to have a lot of money and it never seems to happen, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay, and we're going to start tapping through the points here. And you can just use 1 or 2 fingers, just lightly. Do not be pounding on your head, okay? The thought of having more money sounds really good in theory, and yet something makes me very nervous. I get nervous just thinking about having a lot of money. When I think about having a lot of money, I think about making a lot of money. And when I think about making a lot of money, I think about working a lot. I think about never having free time, never seeing my friends and family, having to work really hard. What good does it do me to have a lot of money if I can't even enjoy it? And so it's better not to even go there. Yes, in some ways, it would make my life easier. But I think rich people just have all kinds of problems. They have unhappy relationships. They're greedy. They're selfish. They're underhanded. That's not me. There's no way for me to make a lot of money without turning into something that I don't love or respect, without giving up my entire life. And so honestly, I don't even want to go there. Because if I did, I'm worried about what people will think, what they'll say, what will happen to my relationships. People will think that I'm greedy. And they'll think that I'm selfish. And what if people just show up because of my money? And what if they expect me to pay for everything? That feels like a lot of responsibility. And it feels like a lot of fake friends could show up. I don't need or want that in my life. just thinking about having a lot of money makes me feel like something really bad's going to happen. It makes me feel like I could lose the good things that I have in my life. I don't know how I would handle a lot of money because I'm not good with money. I've never had to be. Well, that's what I tell myself. Money seems to just fly out of my fingers. And I'm worried that if I had a lot, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to manage it. I don't want to be like those people. And so I honor these feelings. I don't feel safe having a lot of money. It doesn't feel safe. And I honor that lack of safety in my body because I'm really feeling it. And it's no wonder I haven't let money in because it feels really scary. And I don't really know people that have a lot of money. And it would make me different than everyone in my life. And I don't know if I can handle that because I'm already different, and that hasn't been easy. And so I honor how I feel, and I acknowledge it. I accept these feelings, even if they don't really make sense to me. Because in some ways, my life would be a lot easier if I had a lot of money. It would be nice to have a nice place to live, and nice furniture, and nice clothes, and a nice car. But that also feels kind of superficial. And I'm not superficial. I'm spiritual. And I don't know if those things can coexist. But what if they can? What if I can be spiritual? And what if I can be a good person and still have nice things? And have lots of money? What if I could provide other people with jobs or things that they lack in their life and do it with integrity? It feels like a lot of responsibility, but it also feels like a really joyful thing to do. And when I tune into the feelings of shakiness and fear, if I close my eyes for a minute and tune into those feelings in my body, I realize that fear and excitement feel exactly the same. It just depends on what I call it. And I've been focusing on the fear. And for just a moment, right here, right now, I'm choosing to call it exciting. I'm choosing to think about the possibilities of all of the things I could do if I had a lot of money. And I choose to believe. I choose to believe and acknowledge that I'm safe. It's safe to welcome money into my life. It's safe to have lots of money. It's safe to help other people. And I can be a wealthy person and have integrity. I have integrity. And that will never change, no matter how much money I have. Because that is just who I am. And those are my values. Money won't change me. And if it does, it'll only change me for the better. It'll allow me to help more people. It'll allow me to be surrounded by really beautiful things, which will bring me joy, which will make me happy. I don't need to have a ton of things, but I'd like the things that I have to be beautiful. I'd like to love the things that I do have. I'd love to be able to provide work for other people. I'd love to empower other people through the work that I do. And of course, the more money that I have and the less that I struggle allows me to serve as an example for other people, to show them that they can do what I'm doing and that it's safe for them to have money. It allows me to put my life's work out in the world. When I'm not worrying about where the money's going to come from, all of that energy is freed up, allowing me to have more creative ideas. Creative ideas that will help more people in the world. When I think about it from that perspective, it's very appealing. And I'd like to welcome money into my world. I'd love to pay my mortgage off, or my car, whatever it is that you'd love to pay off. Just insert that. I'd love to pay it off. I'd love to take a vacation. I'd love to buy a new car. Fill in the blank here with whatever would feel nice to you. And I know that it's safe for me to have money. Money would never turn me into something that I'm not. Because I have a strong value system. And I have integrity, I act in integrity, and that will never change. And so I welcome money into my life, knowing that it's safe to do so. And I want you to take a deep breath in and close your eyes for a moment and notice how you're feeling. I'm feeling very calm and peaceful right now. Notice how you feel, and you can rate those feelings on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least, 10 being the most. I want you to go back and re-rate every thought and feeling you had at the beginning of this exercise and notice if the numbers have gone down. And I'd love to hear from you. So leave me a comment, send me a message, and be sure to save this video. Come back, do it repeatedly. Try doing it every day for a month and see what happens. See what shifts for you. See if money starts to show up in your life. See if you just start to have more opportunities and flow. And again, let me know, be in touch, and have a beautiful day.